Control issues. Dealing with people that have control issues, and are we talking about you? Number one, if you share your decision with someone about a change that you want to make in your life, and the first thing that they do is tell you what they think, how they feel. I don't know if that's going to work. Well, I don't know. And they express that without taking any wait time to think it through and just say, oh, okay. They have control issues because nobody asked you. It was unsolicited, right? The appropriate response is to ask questions. Okay, so son, you say you're going to move to India. You don't have a job and you don't know anybody there. So how do you plan to, get an apartment or get a house? Asking questions is one thing, but just telling somebody, no, that's not a good idea, son, because you're projecting. That person is projecting their failures, their lack of experience. And unless they're all knowing, all seeing, all God, then they got me, right? But if they're not that, how can they possibly know what's best for you? They don't know what you're believing, what you're manifesting, what you're wanting to create for yourself. That is a person with control issues. Another way to identify them, number two, could be if you express a belief. I believe that Jesus was black or anything, right? Anything that you choose to believe, and they immediately want to come with some kind of book, some kind of scripture, some kind of this, telling you what a doctor said, this is this, or the scripture says this. That's a person with control issues. Again, have you taken some wait time, controlling person? Have you taken some time to say, okay, so where did you get that information? So how did you come up with that? That's a wise person. Ignorance displays itself really quick, but a wise person will ask questions, and a person that truly loves you. And when they sit there and say, well, no, I have to say something to them because I love them. I don't want them to hurt themselves, and I don't want them to go to India and this, that, and that. That's not having faith. That's not believing the best. That's not even believing in that person. You're already believing that person is going to fail. So you putting your opinions out there unsolicited and telling people what you think and what you feel, that's control issues. Prime example, my daughter has come to me several times about things that she's wanted to do, and I'll listen to her. I was like, okay. And this is just over the years, nothing recently, but just last month, over the years, all the time. She'll say, Mom, I'm thinking about doing this and I want to do this with my business. And I'm like, okay, that's my response to her. She's 21 now and she's been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm like, okay, cool. And I leave it at that, especially if I know I don't agree with it in the moment. I'll take some time because she's on her own path. She's on her own journey. She's 21. And I don't know what she's believing. I don't know what's in store for her completely. I can, have an idea based on her gifts. And then she'll come back to me a couple days later. And if it didn't work out, she'll tell me. Or she'll ask me. If she asks me, that's different. Because she has come to me with some wild ideas. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm really rooting for you. I know you're gifted, you're talented. And I just start to praise her. I start to praise her strengths and her gifts versus, trying to control what she does. Because first of all, who am I to try to control anybody? And people that are controlling have issues like that because they themselves have been controlled or they are being controlled as they speak. Me and my daughter did a video on YouTube. It was when that lady cut her daughter's hair off. We did our own spinoff, kind of reflecting on that video. And you can see our relationship right there. I don't run that girl. I don't try to control her. She can decide what she wants. Even my son, he'll come to me and say, Mom, I'm thinking about doing this. On the inside, I'm like, okay. And he's autistic, so he's going to come up with some stuff. But then I already know that it's going to either play out or it's going to, run its course and he'll change his mind. And so a lot of this is coming off of the video series that I've been doing. And religious people are some of the most controlling people. They are, because they themselves are being controlled. And without getting into all of that, whether you're religious or not, you have to learn the principle of just allowing people to be themselves. Allow people to be people. You can't do anything about any decision that anybody makes anyway, unless you're just going to physically stop your son from getting on a plane and go to India. Unless you just, and even then you still can't stop him. Somebody's going to get you off of him. He's going to get you off of him. You can't control people's decisions. You can't control what they do. Why would you? It's better just to go ahead and support them the best way that you can. And in your own quiet time, you can pray or meditate or do what you do. But I'm praying, I'm going to be praying for you, son. That's not genuine. You mean I'm going to be praying that God will turn it in my favor. Not in God's favor, not in your son's favor, but in your favor. And no, it doesn't really apply to teenagers because you're still under the, authority of your parents. But for adults, trying to control other adults. I talked about that in another video. Adults trying to control other adults is insane, especially when it comes to somebody's spiritual decisions. You're concerned about somebody else's spiritual health when your physical health is declining. Neither one of them is less than the other. You're literally overweight, have sickness in your body, on somebody's medication, but you're worried about somebody else's spiritual health. You should be looking at what you're doing. You have all the fries, all the pies, all the cakes right in front of you. You have no discipline in your own eating habits, yet you have the nerve to come and tell somebody what they should be doing and who they should marry and who they should not marry, who they should be with, who they should believe in and who they should not believe in, what they should read, what they should not read. Nobody asked you. That's why the scripture says, take the beam out of your eye while you're trying to look at the speck in your brother's eye. No, check this out. This right here, you see this motion? People need to do this. People that have control issues, they need to do this all day. That way, when they have their phone in their hand and they see something they don't agree with, they're already used to just swipe, swipe, swipe. Or this is where you can hit delete, block, delete, block. You posting a comment saying what somebody should do, nobody cares. And that's the foolishness of it all, that you think your one little comment can change somebody's mind. Nobody cares. Somebody made a post, somebody made a page, or they're doing whatever they're doing for a reason, because that's their belief. Why do you care? There's absolutely nothing you can do. So when it comes to loved ones too, when they make decisions and they want to do things and go off and do that, if you truly love them, just support them in the best way, especially if they're trying to do something positive, whether you think it's positive or not. I'm going to quit college and I'm just going to go across the world and I'm just going to, go from mountain to mountain. Okay, son. Well, what kind of shoes you need? I don't care if you think it's stupid. What kind of shoes you think you're going to need? Because if it's going to fall apart or fail, let it. But at least they can say that my parent or my mom, my sister supported me. I guarantee you, my son came to me yesterday and said, Mom, I'm thinking about, and I'm not going to tell you just to protect his privacy. And on the inside, I don't think it's a great idea. But I didn't tell him that until he asked me. He said, what do you think about that? Oh, and I let it rip. I say, well, son, let me tell you. Okay. And I went in on that thing, in grace and love and everything. But I went in and I told him, and he was like, I see that. I can understand that. Versus me telling him right up front, don't. Then he doesn't feel like he has anybody that he can come to. So those are the two main ways that you can tell if someone is controlling you, is if they don't allow you to think the way that you want to think, and they don't allow you to do the things that you want to do, and they don't give that wait time. Like if you're controlling and you have control issues and somebody does something or says something or thinks a certain way, just pause. Go take a break, 2-3 days. Just say, okay, I hear you. Okay, I hear your idea. Go away. Just go away for a while and just let it settle. And if you feel some kind of way like, and they haven't asked you, like you say, pray about it. And you ain't got to tell the world that you're praying about it. Didn't the Bible tell you not to do that? The Bible told you to pray in secret. And here you are. I'm going to be praying for you. So if you're watching this video, you already know I'm talking about you. I'm going to be praying for you. I didn't ask you to pray for me. That's even intrusive. Nobody asked you. I don't want you praying for me. I don't want you speaking any kind of words over me. Okay? That's not something that I have struggled with controlling people ever. If I see something online or somebody comes to me, it's always, okay, I hear you. Okay. I've never commented on anybody's page, anything negative or contrary to what they're saying. I just keep it moving because I don't have time for it. And that's wisdom. That's wisdom. That's maturity. You just keep going. You allow people to be in the space that they're in. Nobody's over on your page. I know I ain't trying to get you to believe something different or, do something different. I share my experiences. I share my thoughts, and those who resonate with it. And if you have time to comment on the phone to somebody and call somebody or post something or make a comment on somebody's contrary belief to yours, then you have too much time on your hands. You should be busy living an abundant life. You should be busy growing, taking care of that physical health, exercising. And this is the last one. This one is the most powerful. If you can go and call other people and get into a group session and start talking about what somebody else has decided to do, you really have too much time on your hand and you are very controlling. That is a very controlling spirit. well, I just don't think that what, how that make sense? How that make sense? How she just go, that don't make, y'all have too much time. Now it's a group committee. Y'all have too much time on your hands if you're taking sessions to talk about somebody else's decision and choice. What about your mental health? What about your physical health? What about your financial health? Is all that straight? If it's not, you shouldn't have time to be talking about anybody. Because over here, we don't have time for that. We're busy building our lives, healing from controlling people, and we're over here thriving.